G'day guys, Dave here from Old Rigs Down Under. Welcome to the latest video and to the second part of the R600 video. So in the first one, I'd removed the heads, cleaned up all the surfaces and just got to a point of putting the heads back on. In this one, I'm just going to show putting the rest of it together and a couple other jobs and then getting it started up. So as you can see there, there's a little bit of gear back on, so I'll just run you through what I've done already. Alrighty, so what I've done here, the heads are obviously on and tensioned up. And so just putting a few new bits and pieces on now. And this turbo oil feed comes up from the filter housing, and it's got a little bit of a maze it's got to get through. So before I put the back intake and water manifolds on, I wanted to make this hose up here just to make sure that I've got enough hose and enough clearance to where it goes over to the turbo. Now the turbo and the manifold are just dummy fitted at this stage, and I'm just working out where I'm going to put my clamps, making sure that I've got enough loop in that hose there that it's not going to hit on the water hose or the intake hose. So that's done now, and I've got another, I'll put some hoses on there for the bottom radiator hose, and I've got a new hose here to make for the bypass hose. Comes out of here and goes down to the block on the other side. So that tapper cover's just on there as a dummy fit. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough clearance for where that hose goes. So yeah, just a little bit of mucking about. Now, I've got a lot of hoses and clamps and so forth yesterday. It's new heater hoses and things to go on, so I'll keep you updated as we go through. Okay, just putting some injectors in. These 2-valve ones, they've got a felt seal on them, comes in the kit. And at the end of them, they've got a copper washer. Now I've just put some anti-seize on them, and I'll just use a little bit of that just to stick the washer down so it doesn't tip out on the way into the hole. And I've already cleaned out all those holes beforehand, obviously, when I clean the heads. So injectors are now sitting in, and we'll just lock them down and then hook up some pipe work. As you can see, a couple of new hoses through there, new heater hose. So just it's going to look good. It's going to be nice and clean and tidy and hopefully free of leaks. That's what we're after. So I've got the power steering pump apart because the seal was leaking and it was letting oil, engine oil, into the power steering system. Was all black, as you can see, the oil there. So that seal was rock hard, and where it runs there's a fair sort of a mark on that shaft. So I've got another shaft. I'll keep him as a spare, get it built up. But anyway, the new kit comes with a shaft and a bearing and a seal and the O-rings for the segments of these housings. So clean all the bits up and check it over and put it back together. So these segment O-rings just get squashed, so you can see that's pretty flat. Usually get a bit hard and a bit flat. So I've got the new Viton O-ring in there, and when I took this apart I put a little nick in it with the grinder there and there, just so you can't stuff that housing up, because if you put them on the wrong way they won't pump oil. And you can see on that one there we've put the 2 marks on that, so 2 marks on one side, 1 on the other, and that can't be messed up now. So a couple of new O-rings, wipe it out, wipe the vanes down in the rotor and make sure they go back in the same way, because they do have a different edge from top to bottom. I actually don't know if they're like that from new or if that's the way they wear, but I always just put them back in the way I find them and don't have a problem with them that way. So clean up this back housing, pull the check valve, the relief valve out of it, put that up, sit it on that spline there, and then that'll sit inside that housing. And yeah, the oil comes in one side and the vanes throw out on the oval part of the housing, and push the oil, pull it in one side, push it out the other. So anyway, we'll get it back together. So the rotor's back in there now. See, those vanes will throw out to each of that gap end, the oval end. So now we're just going to put the top cap back on. And this O-ring goes around the top cap and seals on the back segment. And that's about it. Rightio, it's starting to get there now. Getting a few bits and pieces bolted on. Got a compressor there with the power steering pump, a couple of new hoses. So I've decided to skip ahead a little bit over some of the stuff that has already been covered in other videos. So if you go back through the channel list or video list, you'll see the startup and the pump installation on this truck, and also setting the valve clearances as well. So yeah, you probably didn't need to see that for a second or a third time. But the bull bar's back on now. The engine's back together, and I have had it running, and it fired up pretty easily because the pump was full of fuel, and it only took about 3 tanks of air just to get the fuel through the top of the injector pump and over to the lines, because obviously I had all them off. But anyway, she's going again now, which is good, and it's a bit quieter too, which is quite handy. Sounding a lot better there. Running nice and smoothly. It's good to hear. So that's that part of the journey completed. So just going to pull it forward now. I'm going to tackle some rear mudguards, which should be an immense amount of fun for anyone who's fitted plastic mudguards before. But anyway, it's going okay so far. Well, she's about to head north. Got some special cargo on the back. R785 Buntine Roadways. We'll feature this truck more at the show, and we'll make sure that well, it's ready to set sail. There's some special cargo. 1971 R700, R785. It's got the 237 Macks 9. It belongs to a cousin of ours. And yeah, we're not going to unveil this until it's at the show and everybody's seen it. But yeah, it's been a good restoration by a good friend of ours, and it's making its Queensland debut in about 10 hours time. But yeah, for the weekend show, which will be really good. Anyway, let's hope the old girl makes it. See the extra long bonnet there, long wheelbase. Yeah, 237, 6-speed box. Originally it had 8.24 to 1 diffs, but it's got 4.76s in it now, so it goes a bit quicker. Yeah, so if the one on the ground plays up, you can always use the one on the trailer. Full road train spec, rubber guards, side pipe as was the custom back then, black checker plate tanks, black mirrors, just plain Jane. Just a great example of exactly how they were when they left the factory in the early 70s. Away we go. So this is another part of the trip for the road to Rocklea. Picked up a John Deere tractor this morning that has to be dropped off along the way. So the idea is to try and get the John Deere as far up the front as we can. We've got some very special cargo for the back, which you will see very soon. That's the plan, get it in here. This is as far as I could get it at the dealership this morning. So I've got a stiff bar and a tractor that I'll push it up there with. And we'll get it up some ramps and onto the top deck. Anyway, it's all good, the excitement's building. Right, so doing a bit of reshuffling here with this 6620 John Deere for the road to Rocklea mission. Now, there's never a dull moment with this sort of caper, and you're dealing with old stuff and dead machinery and so forth. This tractor's a non-runner, and we're taking it to the Inverell Wrecker rural wrecking on the way up. So we pushed it onto the drop deck with a tractor down at the dealership, and they used a big forklift to do it. Got it just up onto the top deck, and the forklift wouldn't go up the ramps, so we chained it and then we towed it with the big forklift. Now, you would think that a tractor dealership would have a tractor somewhere that they could hook a stiff bar on and push it up, seeing as that's what they used to push it up with the forklift. But they didn't want to do that, so rather than butt heads with them, I left it there and I thought I'll do it myself. So we've got muscles here, the two 135 white. I'm going to put the stiff bar between the two drawbar pulls, or pushes in this case, and we're going to lift it, push it up onto the top deck. I want to try and get it as far forward as possible. Now, of course, the crowd rams have just sagged, so the quick hitch attachment was just going to hit the top deck, so I've got that just lifted up with a sky hook there. We do have props in the ram, so at least that's a start. So once the front wheels get up to the ramps, the weight will come off those chains on the crane and I can move it. Anyway, this should be interesting. Wish me luck. Righto, got muscles hooked up to the whole outfit here. We've got the Cranville slinging the lift point on the Johnny. In the words of old rigs down under, let's see what it wants to do. Well, it wasn't too bad. It's starting to creep over this way, so I've stopped it there. I'm just going to push the wheels from the other side, but I'll be able to let that crane down now, which will be right. And what do we got coming up the road here? Early B model with Australia's oldest Mack. Now that is something you don't see every day. I think we'll leave the CH here and take this one. What a ripper. All part of the road to Rocklea. Alrighty, we're back home from Rocklea now. It's a little bit wetter down here than before we left. We've just had 33 mil of rain, which is terrific. Our model did very, very well. Got a bit of an oil leak to fix, but otherwise did the 3,000k round trip absolutely beautifully. Still looking a treat with the new trailer on behind. The CH also did a good job. And on the back of that, we've still got the 660 into tractor, which we picked up on the way home from rural wrecking, and it's just going to go to a local collector here. Apparently the 666s were a fairly rare tractor out here. So anyway, it's definitely seen better days, but it'll go to a good place. So everything went really well on the trip. Very good show, trucks went well, everything went well except for the technology. So I've managed to lose all of the footage I took, the photos I took of the trip up and the show, which is just very disheartening. But anyway, I've managed to get some footage from Timmy Dawes and my brother Andy of the trip up, and also of the show up there, which is really good. They did really well up at Rocklea at the show to actually put a show on. They'd had a lot of rain up there in the lead up to it, and even as late as the Friday night and the Saturday morning. But they did well to get the trucks around the ground because you couldn't drive on it. And for the amount of trucks that were there, and particularly Macks, it was a fantastic effort by all concerned. So hopefully you still enjoy the next series of photos that I'm going to put in. And thanks again to Tim and Andy for coming through with the goods there. I thought we might be through the technology dramas, but they're still hanging about. But anyway, a very successful mission otherwise. Very grateful for that. So strap in for the rest of the video, guys, and I hope you enjoy it. So the next sequence of photos shows Andy's R600 heading up to Rocklea, or up to Brisbane, with Captain Matt's R700 on the back of it. Both are really good looking trucks. Green and white really goes well with the white trailer as well. Both trucks are at different ends of the restoration spectrum. One looks like it's brand new and just about to go into service, and one looks like it's just come out of service with a real patina look about it with a couple of fresh touches. Both got plenty of attention on the way up, with numerous calls on the radio and people coming over to look when he was pulled up at a servo. Got young Tom here from TLC Productions, giving the Buntine R785 a little bit of a clean-up before the show. Could nearly make a brochure photo out of that. And here we've got Captain Matt's other R700 on the back of the R600. The wrecking crew here doing some final touches before the show out at Rocklea. This shows the 237 in the R700, which was a bit of a rare spec, and out at the show finally.
Super liner ever made.
Now there were a few other trucks there other than Macks, but we didn't get too many photos. This shows a beautiful C500 and an SAR done perfectly for the 80s. Here's a mid-90s Macks CLR with a factory fitted Series 60. Here's a super liner that you'll see again later in this sequence. Now this B61 started in Victoria and now made its way up to Queensland. And the same can be said for this superliner here. Both really good trucks local to the show up there. Captain Matt on the left and Mick Barton in the middle, the owner and the restorer of the Buntine truck. One of the 16 bicentennial superliners, Governor Phillip, I think. And this is the last superliner built, as Timmy mentioned earlier. Now the trucks here represent a decade, the first 5 decades of Macks, 125 years in Australia. And this is the Cherry Picker, the only survivor in Australia. There was only 2 that came out here from new. Here are more photos of the trucks representing each decade. Here's Tim in John Flynn, the bicentennial superliner, which Mack owns. And more of the trucks representing each decade along the way, right up until present day with the Mack Anthem on the end, closest to camera. A couple of R700s here talking about old times, and one reminding the other one that you need air to start. One of Dick Carriman's superliners, really good local truck to the show. And here's this beautiful superliner, which I think might come from down the coast a bit. Here's a couple of, one heavy R model and a couple of other R models that are owned by Don and Mary, some really good local collectors to the show. And here's Carriman's superliner again. And it's pretty hard to go past the last superliner. Last of the truck show photos, an R600 with an ultraliner on the right. Good to see them both there. And here's Andy on the way home, tackling Cunningham's Gap in the R600. And by all reports, it absolutely marched up there. Here's Tim and I parked up at Millmerran. From there, we went down to Inverell to pick up this 666 farm haul. We got it all loaded up in the end. Got all the loose debris off. Got the outfit tidied up. And we were just about ready to set sail. here at Old Rigs Down Under, another initiative that we're bringing to you is the driver training program. So we've got Timmy at the wheel at the moment, and he's teaching me how to sit in the passenger seat. So what do you reckon, Tim? Is it as good as the B model?
Yeah, well, it's probably got twice the horsepower almost. Half the sticks. But yeah, we're sort of getting used to it. Does motor along pretty nicely.
Oh, that's good, mate. Look like you've been doing the job for years.
Imitation is the name of the game.
What if you can't make it, fake it, you reckon?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we're saving the best road till last year. As Slim Dusty used to say, the longest miles are always the nearest home. Anyway, Timmy's got hold of it all right. The truck, that is.
The truck's just steering its way home. Knows where it's going.
Reckon it's probably on autopilot, you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so coming into Mangapla. Home sweet home. So she's been a fairly epic journey. Haven't quite calculated the Ks yet, but somewhere in the vicinity of 1500, and maybe, sorry, 1500 one way. So something in the vicinity of 2800 to 3000 Ks, and plus a few extra for Timmy as well to take the AC home. But it's been a pretty good trip. Had a good time, seen some great trucks, met some great people, and probably be back here in 2 years' time to do it all again. What do you reckon, Tim?
I think so. It's been a pretty good trip.
Be a little bit quicker than taking the AC up there on the road.
Much quicker, and the LCH is much quicker and nicer to drive than the B model. Even if it has only got one stick.
Yeah, you have to find somewhere else to put your hat, mate. You can't hang it on the second stick.
Yeah, that's right. Well, what have we got up here on the left, Dave? Is that the home of a very good farming?
It's a little bit further up. That's the hall, that one.
Oh yeah, up in there.
Local establishment's a bit further up the road there. Probably vouch for a reasonable feed there. Anyway, this brings us to the end of the line. I'm just about to see a few Macks in here on the right. See a bit of a familiar looking place. That looks like it, Tim, you reckon?
I think so.
Alright, job well done, mate.
Thank you, Dave.
See you on the next one, guys.